Still 20 more minutes to go against Team Latvia. And Hughes and Caufield will continue to be on the record chase as the Americans will do their best to cruise into the quarters, where they will get, as it stands, Team Finland.
20 minutes of really good habits here. That's what Coach John Wroblewski is looking for. 5 minutes of work each, rotate through the lines, and a good mental challenge for Spencer Knight because he hasn't had a lot of action in this game. And the idea to play him was so he didn't have a 4-day gap between games. And it's a good mental challenge to stay in the game.
And just like that, Latvia sneak one through. It's Kristaps Skrasjins. Just 8 seconds into the period, the Latvians have their first of the game.
And as I applaud Spencer Knight's mental toughness, he gets beat with a long one. Maybe that was the curse.
You couldn't have timed that any worse, could you?
Wow. Wow, because that's the key to playing a game like this, is keep your mental awareness in a very, very innocent play. Transition in the neutral zone and a shot through. Alex Vlasic that simply beat Spencer Knight cleanly. Very understated celebration by Skrasjins, and so now that'll sharpen up Spencer Knight.
So first of the tournament for Skrasjins. He's had a nice season playing pro with HS Riga in Latvia, 17 goals. He was Latvian pro level player of the month back in November. So it's been a nice first season of professional hockey for Skrasjins.
Just that little tinge of disappointment on the defensive side. You know, they take so much pride in a clean sheet and a shutout in this type of game where they've been so dominant.
So that's the third goal Latvia have ever scored in this tournament against the United States. This is the 4th meeting. The Americans have won the first 3, and a good chance that they'll win the 4th year as well.
You know, a commanding 5-1 lead and total domination in this hockey game in every statistical category. Stay out of the penalty box this period. Don't let the Latvians get back on the power play. They've been 0-for, but they've had a couple of chances in that sense. Defensive side of every puck. All the good habits that are going to lead up to the quarterfinals on Thursday, when they will be matched up against Finland in a very, very tough game. The Finns 0-3, but a huge 7-0 win today over the Swiss club, and they'll pose a big threat. Winners of 2 of the last 3 gold medals, a silver medal in between for the Finnish under-18 team.
Going to be tough for Latvia as well, as if Canada get at least a point against the Czechs today, they'll take on the Canadians in their quarterfinal game. Canada and Czech Republic set to go at 1:30 Eastern later on today.
Of course, the Czechs upset the Canadians last year in this tournament.
In the quarters. Shot there deflected off a Latvian defenseman, Tycho. Now here's Dominic Vedsori. Passes back to the blue line. Ranging in is Patrick Moynihan from Millis, Massachusetts. Back to Vedsori, who plays it to the corner. It comes right back out to Dominic Vedsori. Tries to shake past Polks and go to the net, but a maze of Latvian sticks got in the way.
Brian Mudryk and Craig Button will have that call in the Canada game this afternoon.
Canada looking to go perfect in the prelims, much as the United States are looking to do in this game. Of course, a perfect preliminary round doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot if you lose in the quarters.
It certainly doesn't, and that's the beauty of this tournament, Victor. It gets down to 1 game, and that's where habits become so important. I had a long chat with my former player, you see, John Wroblewski, played for me for 4 years at Notre Dame, was a captain for me. We chatted before the tournament, and he talked about the makeup of a 1-game single elimination tournament as this progresses. The talent they have, he said, you know, we can win a 4-game out of 7 series against virtually anyone in our age group. But to play in 1 game and have the suddenness of the 1 game is very, very different. That's the preparation that you need for this tournament. And this program that's been built now over the course of 20+ years, originally out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, has now moved to Plymouth, Michigan. They moved the players there as 16-year-olds. They play together for 2 years in the National Development Program, and just a highly successful program over the years. Has produced an elite level of play at the U17, the U18 level, the World Junior level, and certainly a number of the superstars that have gone on to the NHL, names like Patrick Kane, Austin Matthews. Jack Eichel went through this program. On and on and on. James Van Riemsdyk, one of the early members of this program.
Like we've said a couple of times, he might have as many as 5 first top 10 really picks in the first round. Even more in the first round later on, with guys like Bobby Brink, Cam York available.
Cam York, the top defensive player available for this team. And other countries, Victor, have really studied the program. And countries like Slovakia, like Latvia, like the Czech Republic have studied the program to see what parts of it they can implement in terms of bringing groups of players together. This one, a good example in Latvia, where they bring a number of them together in Riga as 15 and 16-year-olds so they can get a vertical assembly going. A player like Matthew Beniers starts the year on the U16 team and comes to the big team for the tournament and gets that valuable experience ahead of time. Last year, Caufield was part of that group. Hughes was part of that group that played up into the next year and gained that experience. And Jack Hughes, already one of the leading goal scorers in this tournament historically, point getters rather, and did it as an underage player.
The Slovaks probably have the closest thing to this program with Team Orange, under 20, essentially their World Junior squad, and they had a couple players at this year's under 18s who played on that team. Is a nice save it tight from Lasdens. That draws the whistle, and again, some more physicality in behind the net. Trevor Zegras got involved with Ravis Ansons.
Not shy at all about hanging around the net, Trevor Zegras, and a hard walk along that goal line by Cole Caufield. You can see the attack. He's below the goal line when he catches that puck, but has no hesitation to take that body into high traffic area in the crease. This will be a Latvian penalty. The aggressive play. Oleg Sorokin's head coach of the team, and Ansons has seen this penalty box a couple of times now. The leading scorer for Latvia coming into the tournament, coming into this game rather, in the tournament.
Now 5 minor penalties at the tournament, 2 in this game for Ravis Ansons. Underage forward, could very well be the best in his age group, eligible for the tournament next year. Jack Hughes looks to center, comes over to Zegras on the far side. Now in behind the net, comes out to the near side, passes back, taken in by Cam York. Off on the wing, snapped over to Hughes on the near side. Hughes to the faceoff dot, shoots, and looked to finesse that one into the top corner. Instead it misses and slides back into American territory.
I do like the thought process of Jack Hughes to shoot the puck because he's such a great passer, but shooting it will open up those passing lanes even more for him.
Jack Hughes comes in again. This time his pass is picked off by Evdokimovs and cleared down the ice off the boards by Latvia.
As this tournament increases, you won't like that pass by Jack Hughes, blind on the backhand into the middle, a little more of a hope play, and there's so much skill there, you don't need hope plays on this power play.
Bobby Brink passes up the middle, scores! Dominic Fensori, he wired it. That caught the bar and just over the line. USA leads 6-1.
In the transition into the second unit, which has moved the puck very well today. Bobby Brink, a big part of this second unit. And as he handles the puck, Dominic Fensori put this, I think, under the bar.
They're going to have a look at it, as will we.
Michael Campbell with the headset on from Surrey, British Columbia, the referee. We'll get a good look at it here.
Oh, it hits the crossbar.
That is not a goal.
Boy, that's close.
As close as it comes. It looked like it hit the bar and went straight down. Dan Heino with a little tap on the back there for Dominic Fensori and says, if it didn't go in, you can go back out and get another one.
It was a heck of a shot.
It was a terrific shot. Terrific pass by Bobby Brink.
But the question is, did the puck completely cross the line after it hit the crossbar?
Aerial view here. There's the crossbar. straight down.
Now, that's close. Is that in or not?
It's the angle. As it goes down, I think you see the puck inside. Oh, this is really close. This is going to be a hard call. Now, it was called a goal on the ice. So if there isn't evidence to totally change that, if they're uncertain on this, the call on the ice will stand, and the sweet little dish by Bobby Brink into that middle area. Fensori on the rush. Now, it was also the referee on the far side of the ice that made this call, Michael Campbell, that made this call, so he may not have had a perfect view as well.
Artur Silovs started this game. Rudolf Lasdin's now in between the pipes for Latvia after jumping off the bench in the second period.
Ernest Oseniak going back to have a little chat there with Lasdins.
Mentioned earlier, Lasdins was a teammate this year of Artur Silovs. Backed him up for most of the year. Silovs is having a great season. He was leading the Latvian Pro League in save percentage by January. Wound up 5th in the league, which is impressive for an 18-year-old at a pro level in any league, really.
Very much so. And when we speak of the vertical nature of these organizations, we see them in Sweden, in Finland, and in Latvia now. You can play as a 16-year-old in that age group, but called up to the team above you. I think we can watch this 100 times, Victor, and not decide from here whether it went in or not. But the vertical nature of it lets you get called up to an older age group. If you're dominated, you can get called up within an organization to an older age group and test your wares at that age level. And then if it doesn't work out, can drop back down to the junior level or whatever it may be. So the vertical nature of these organizations lets development of the elite players really become an easier thing. We're going to get a better view from this angle. I don't think that's a goal. But once again, it was called a goal on the ice, so unless they have evidence, they won't reverse this. We'll wait for the call.
No goal.
No goal. My batting record isn't that good on the aerial camera, but we got that one right.
Well, that's about as close as it gets, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because the puck flipped on the way down, it looked like it was over the line as it was coming down and then hit the line.
Well, Fensori certainly deserved one with a shot like that, but just doesn't get the right bounce, so it stays 5-1.
He's been an impressive player. He was the 7th man when this tournament started and has worked his way up to more playing time. And they like all 7 of these defensemen. The decision to dress 7 and play 7 and rotate them through a very, very skilled group of puck movers. All the different elements. They've got size. They've got speed. They've got mobility.
Here's Bobby Brink on the wing. Passes across. Scores! This one will count. Matthew Boldy fires it through.
Well, Bobby Brink says, I tried this pass a minute ago to Dominic Fensori and you didn't let it happen. This time it skips past the middle guy to the far guy by design. All the focus on the middle. Now it gets all the way across the ice to Matthew Boldy. A little hold, a little hesitation. As you can see it bypass, thrown in the middle. And what a slick little move by Boldy. Pulls it inside and goes just inside the post. His 3rd goal of the tournament, leading the tournament in assists with 7 coming in today. The Boston College Eagle-bound player. Good size, Matthew Boldy, and the top 10 of the upcoming NHL draft by our scouting director, Craig Button, has him listed in that group. Seems to have all the tools. Big guy, can skate, sees the ice very well. Thought he'd show us his shot right there. We agreed with that.
He started the season on a tear with 11 goals in 13 games, 4 of which were shorthanded.
Well, you can see the speed and the defensive awareness and the speed that he has. He'd be a real threat shorthanded.
That's his 3rd of the tournament. we've really taken note of his playmaking ability. Is Spiniers with a hard shot throw. Check that, Farrell. That was stopped by Lasdins.
When he was the odd man out on that #1 power play when Trevor Zegras joined the group, because he was playing that offside flank. Some of those points were on assists on that early power play.
Now here's Owen Lindmark rushing in over the blue line, tries to curl it in front. Taken in by Scratchins, who has the lone Latvian goal in this game. And now you have Dokamovs, brings it down the ice. Chips that one in behind the defense, then gets crushed into the boards. Here's Patrick Moynihan, stretches over to the far side. Lindmark, angled off by Bruntz. Zipped right back in from center ice.
And the ability of that weak side defenseman to join the play, as Alex Vlasic does there, it makes for a much flatter pass from the strong side board. So instead of trying to go through the defender up to the high wing, you can pass it across at a flatter nature. Now this means the weak side D is jumping up in the play, and very aggressive, strong skating group loves to do it. The D love to get up, but it just gives the passer such a better angle from the boards as the strong side wing gets it and passes across to that D. And now you're attacking with 4 players, and with the way teams play defensively now, you need that 4th man up in the rush very often in order to create offense.
Now Revis Hansen's to square off against Owen Lindmark at the face-off dot. Comes right back to Spencer Knight. Had a rough start, just 8 seconds into this period tonight, but hasn't really seen any action since either.
And one little blip on the resume today, and I spoke just before that puck literally went in the net about the mental challenge a goalie has on a day like this when he doesn't see a lot of shots, and he has to stay sharp for whatever he gets, and he'd done a good job of that right up to that second, and maybe I put the curse on him.
Now Patrick Moynihan passes this back to the point. Here's Henry Thrun on the near side. From Southborough, Massachusetts, centers it in front. One's batted just to the blue line. They'll say it came out, and we got a penalty here. Because again, this has been a bit of an edgy game, probably the most so far for Team USA, but they've got the last lap at this point, up 6-1. Final game of the group stage for Team USA in Örnsköldsvik, Sweden. And they'll go to the power play with Nikita Matejko in the box. Up 6-1. And a chance to add some more nearly halfway through the 3rd period. This is rushed down the ice, shorthanded by the Latvians. And a shot from Sayers is flagged down by Spencer Knight with the glove.
Does Cole Caufield have yet another hat trick in him?
This one's moved toward the net. 2 in the game for Caufield. Had hat tricks in back-to-back games against Sweden and Slovakia,
including 4 in one of those, and multiple goal games in every game of this tournament. The pure goal scorer.
This is moved down low, comes up to Zegras, but right there was Gleb's Harenkovs, and he shoots this one out.
Cole Caufield, the native of Stevens Point, Wisconsin, staying in state, headed to the Badgers. Bringing just a little bit of goal scoring to that group next year. Such a talent level of these young guys. You watch the talent level that's coming to the National Hockey League, 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are making such a huge impact early, and the skill level and talent to watch is so much fun.
There's Bobby Brink. He ripped that shot.
Speaking of talent,
he just joined the team in their last game against Russia. Centers this one, and it's lofted over the net. Brink has an assist in this game, had 2 against Team Russia as well. And was 4th amongst USHL point scorers this year, playing with Sioux City. The only player on this team that doesn't play with the USNTDP. As this is fired up to the blue line by Knight, and he's got to get back in a hurry, but steers it aside.
Exactly the point I made earlier. He's such a good puck handler that if he's bored, will he start to wander? No trapezoid to hold him in place, and he handles it so well, and he loves to be that 3rd defenseman out there.
Now on the wing, Gilden was separated from the puck, comes back to center. Matthew Bouldy cuts to the middle and was looking to hit Gilden on the pass. Just missed as the power play is set to expire. Here's Gilden off to Bouldy, up the middle, and Bobby Brink sends this one high of the net.
Nice rotation coming across from the goaltender's right, and Brink setting up in the middle for that strong side one-timer, and just fired that back across his body and wide on the short side.
Yevdokimov shoots it off the boards behind the net. It's stopped by Knight. Here's Drew Hellison. Now in over the blue line, drop back to Beecher toward the net. Warded away by the Latvian defense. And a stretch pass just out of the reach of Zabasovs, but he tracks it down low in American territory. Back to the blue line, pass too hot to handle for Harris Brantz.
I like Brantz's game today, Victor. Handles the puck very well, underage defenseman for this Latvian team, and he'll be one to watch moving forward.
And he was part of the team last year that won the Division I gold for Latvia that got them to this point. So he played in that tournament at just 15 years old. Latvia went perfect, 5-0, to get promoted back into the top division at the World Under-18s. And they'll stay there.
Fared very, very well here with a big win that puts them into the quarterfinals.
A shutout over Slovakia guarantees them a spot in the quarters for the first time in their history at this tournament. They've only ever won 4 games here, including the relegation.
It can be deceptive. You'll see a team win a couple of games in a year, but they're in the relegation phase, so don't count as official tournament wins, if you will, because they're in the relegation phase.
Now into the corner it goes. Veneers was spilled. This is a very similar Latvian roster to what they had last year as well in the Division 1A Under-18s. 10 returning players. The goaltender Silovs, 5 defensemen, and 4 forwards as well, as another whistle brings us to a stoppage in play. The United States looking to close this one out, up 6-1. So a little 4-on-4 in between the United States and Latvia, and there's been a goaltending change for the United States of America as Spencer Knight on the bench, not for poor play though, but rather for rest, you would figure anyways, now as Cameron Rowe takes his spot between the pipes for
exactly.
the end of this game.
Cameron Rowe started the second game of the tournament, but with the gap, those games were back-to-back, and then with the gap, the 2-day gap between games, they felt that Spencer Knight would get the action today and then likely be the starter in the quarterfinals, so Cameron Rowe gets in his second game of the tournament here.
USA will set up. Jack Hughes looks to pass. That's blocked. So Cameron Rowe essentially playing the part of relief pitcher in this one.
They're bringing in the lefty.
And back through center. Latvia will shoot it in. Cameron Rowe committed to the University of North Dakota and sees his first action there as he catches it with the glove.
Spencer Knight will be a Boston College Eagle. Joseph Woll, the draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs, has signed after 3 years in college. He'll move on.
And both Rowe and Knight are expected to be taken in the NHL draft this year. Knight might be the first goaltender drafted.
Craig Button, director of scouting for TSN, has him listed 13th overall on his list.
John Beecher drops it back, and a hard shot from Alex Vlasic is stopped by Rudolph Lasdens.
But I can see somebody stepping up ahead of that and taking him. If you're in the top 10, somewhere around that 8, 9, 10 range, and you don't have a goaltender you feel that can develop into a #1 in your system, I could definitely see someone stepping up and taking him. He's been the highest rated goalie in the last handful of years.
He was part of the World Junior team this year too, but was the 3rd string behind Caden Primo and Kyle Kaiser. Spencer Knight was.
That's the experience you can get him. Just being at a tournament like that would be a great experience.
He was on the under-18 squad last year as well, so one of 4 returnees with Cam York, Cole Caufield, and Jack Hughes.
I think overall, John Wroblewski would be proud of his group today. Dan Hinote and Kevin Lind, the assistant coaches on this team, Did a nice job of preparing the team for the preliminaries, and now we move into showtime. One game, single elimination, the quarterfinals. We'll have those here for you on Thursday. U.S. slated to meet Finland. Later this afternoon, we'll have Canada.
Canada and the Czech Republic later on today. Still a couple scenarios to be determined. Canada need just a point to clinch first in Group A. And Russia and Sweden to play as well later on, Dave.
Right, Brian Mudryk and Craig Button in that side of the tournament. We'll have that call for you later today.
So Sweden will stay in Örnsköldsvik, as will the United States, having won Group B. And Sweden will await their opponents as well. Again, all depending on how things shake out between them and Russia and Canada, Czech Republic. And the USA will look to close this one out here in the final 5.5 minutes. They know they're taking on Finland.
Just a huge hit by Cole Caufield behind the play there. Absolutely crushed the Latvian defender in the corner.
We haven't seen a ton of hitting. Cole Caufield, who hasn't made a whole lot of noise in this game, make sure he gets involved one way or another.
And joining Cameron Rowe at North Dakota next year.
Shot incoming is stopped by Lasdins, and the rebound ricochets right back to Marshall Warren. Now Beecher in the corner with it. Guides it back to Warren at the point. Across to Fensori. Gives it back to Warren up high. Looks for a lane and gets it. That's off the pad of Lasdins. Fensori controls it back into neutral territory.
Under age-old sayings on the bench right now, the saying is this way or better. This game finishes this way or better. We don't give anything else up defensively, and we don't need any more goals.
Henry Thrun to the far side. His pass just missed, but Matthew Boldy gobbles it up and tosses it up to center on the backhand. Into the corner goes Turcotte. Takes a bump. Ernest Osniaks, or Seniaks rather. Whatever happened to the Bob Smiths of the world? They didn't go to Latvia. Oh, here's a goal right on the short side. Bobby Brink puts it through, and the United States leads 7-1.
Good finish, good position for Bobby Brink. Joining this U.S. national development team from the Sioux City Musketeers in the USHL. What a backhand pass that was across. I believe that was Matthew Boldy that threw that across on his backhand. Two things happened there. The passer knows where the goal scorer is, and it was Boldy. And the goal scorer is patient. He stays there. There's been eye contact with Boldy as Boldy crashes across. Brink stays put, presents the stick as an option, and trusts that that pass is going to come. And that's exactly what happened on that play. Boldy with his 8th helper of the tournament.
He has been a generous hockey player. Has a goal in this one too. As Cam York goes up and off the glass. Back to the net. Brink looking for another, and Lasdin shuts the door, getting the leg over in time. Now York back out there with Thrun. Will hoist this one in right in on Lasdins, who fields it with the glove and pass it over to Tyko. Gets it back around the boards, just held in. Into the slot, feather to the front. Turcotte looks to jam it through, loosen the crease. Everyone piles in there, but it comes out to Skrastjins and swept away from him by Thrun. USA reel it back in though, over the blue line. Here's Matthew Boldy. Drops it back. Henry Thrun, the defenseman, looks across. Boldy on the backhand, and he just slips it wide. As the whistles blow, the player in the crease. United States leading 7-1. Just over 3 minutes to go in the final preliminary stage game for the United States. They have cruised through this one, 7-1. over Team Latvia right now. It started off pretty close. Latvia was down just 1-0 after 20.
With 2 power play opportunities in that period they weren't able to capitalize on, but they played an excellent first period, kept themselves in the game, and then about halfway through the second period at 3-0, I felt they could get away from the Latvians, and that's exactly what happened with 2 more goals in that period.
So Team USA, their worst offensive output in a single game in the preliminary stage was 6 goals.
Prolific we knew coming in, and they have not disappointed at all.
Owen Lindmark crosses through center, gets past one, pulls up. Lindmark to the front, shoots. That didn't get through the defense, though. Now back the other way is Avazovs. Gets in on the wing and shoots that just wide of the net. Nice little rush for the Latvian forward as it comes back to the point. Another shot is directed up and out of play for the whistle.
That is terrific help from Marshall Warren on the weak side coming across. Oseniaks comes in, really good speed coming in wide. That's his next shot. Came in wide, and Marshall Warren, sensing his partner was in trouble, came across on the weak side and really helped out. Good awareness that he could do that. There were no more threats coming on the rush from Latvia, so able to help out his teammate and D partner on that play.
This one sent cross ice and just offside at the USA blue line with 1:47 to go. And for the United States, that can't go quick enough. I'm sure they must be chomping at the bit right now to get through into the quarters.
They really are, but it's important to finish the game and play smart and play the same way. They'll get a day of rest tomorrow and then face what they know will be a very dangerous Finnish team.
Yeah, what a disaster today for the Swiss. Now 11-0 for Finland. 60-20 are the shots in favor of the Finns, so I guess they're coming in hot.
So Finland saved all their offense for one of their 4 games. They lost the first 3.
The United States scored 12 against Slovakia, so maybe a 12-11 game is in the cards for us in the quarters. There's another penalties called late here. This will be interference.
Caufield going through the crease here, and there's been a couple of whistles that we haven't been able to comment on just because of the timing, but if you do get your skate in the crease, the whistle blows automatically. They protect the goaltender in the international game much better than they do in the North American game, and Caufield going through here, they felt bumped. The goaltender, Rudolph Lasden's on that play. I think Lasden sold it pretty good myself, but Caufield getting that penalty.
So that is Judd Caufield in the box. Same pronunciation on the last name as Cole Caufield, but a minor spelling difference. There's an L in Judd's name.
The 6'3" Judd Caufield heading to North Dakota. The diminutive 5'7" Cole Caufield heading to Wisconsin.
So just over a minute to go in this one. Canada and the Czech Republic to come your way later today as well. TSN 3, TSN 5, and the NHL Network at 1:30. And that game will have a lot of bearing on who plays who in the quarterfinals. Well, the USA know their opponent. Latvia will await theirs. Now 12-0 for the Finns. Rough day at the office if you're Switzerland. They'll play Slovakia in the relegation round.
U.S. is telling the Finns to get it all out of your system today, gentlemen. It'll be a little tighter game on Thursday.
So either way, it'll be a pretty notable hockey organization on the way out of this tournament, relegated to the Division 1A. As Latvia move it around on the power play. Up high is shot right in on Cameron Rowe, and he sees it all the way and catches it with the glove.
The monetary side of it is such a factor for some of these programs to be able to have the finances to build a program, and coaching right till the end. John Wroblewski and Dan Heinold. 35.4 seconds left. Still time to discuss what's going on in the ice. Always looking ahead to what might be a situation. They're discussing maybe a power play alignment they're seeing out of Latvia, or a defense they don't like out of their penalty kill unit. They'll talk about it post game and maybe present something to their group. Oleg Sorokin's continuing to coach on the Latvian bench. Always teaching at this age level. So much more to learn. Get young players coming in thinking they know the complete game and realizing how far that is from the case.
This one's pushed out to center. Taken back in by Latvia on the near side. It's Raivis-Hanssons.
Good job protecting that blue line by Hellison. Stepping right up. Good physical contact, good protection of that line.
Now coasting in over the blue line. Vitolins turns back in the corner. Sent out on the wing. Ozils back off. Shot is blocked, and that brings this game to a conclusion. It's a perfect preliminary round for the United States. They cruise to victory 7-1 over Latvia.
And now it's showtime. On to the quarterfinals on Thursday morning against a Finnish team that's